is unified. Example, it is set for the year. So it is irrespective of the product or is irrespective of the location. The transport cost is fixed, saying it is X amount of dollars for Y amount of kilometers.
So it doesn't have to do which product you're delivering. It just has to do with the distance of that product being delivered. Okay. So that's what you mean by framework. Okay. I see. So is that basically the big three areas where you would unify along the supply chain?
Yeah. Also on the quality, which is quality procedures. The quality management system is unified, and the quality operating procedure. What I mean is, you can define a standard operating procedure that before the goods are sent, what are the quality checks to be made, or you can define a standard operating procedure saying if the defect is found at the customer, what is the protocol to be followed. We need to return those goods. We need to do the investigation within X amount of days. We need to feed back to the customer. So that is all defined as a standard procedure, which is unified.
I understand. Okay. Actually, one question that actually just came up to my mind was, what would be, like, when you consider different types of supply chains, and you just mentioned that you would have a unified area, whereas you would have a tailor-made area, right? What would be the first cut, as you may call it, where you would differentiate supply chains among different divisions? Like you briefly explained to me that, you have the ship to stock, right? And you have the ship to line types of businesses. Like, what would be the framework that would suit businesses where you would have where like, for example, a company president would say, okay, for this division we would have this type of supply chain, and for this division we would have this type of different supply chain. Like, what would be the golden cut for that, the first cut, when you consider different types of supply chains?
Yeah. So as I explained to you, there'll be only two modules. One, there'll be standardization and unified approach for some of the elements, and there'll be some tailor-made approaches for depending on the need of the manufacturing unit or need of the customer.
Okay.
So the changes will happen which are driven internally. Internally, there is a need. Example, specific product on a specific manufacturing location, there will be some changes required. Or if it is if it is derived from what the customer wants.
I'm sorry, I didn't actually get that. Can you explain to me that again? Sorry.
Yeah. So what I mean to say is the basics of supply chain design and unified approach, which we talked about, is unified and can be widely implemented across different manufacturing units. Only thing what will change is the changes will be required specific to the product category or specific to the need of the customer.
Okay. So what would be the needs of the customers, like where you would have to consider it?
Yeah. So just example is some customers they want the manufacturing unit to manage the inventory. They only want parts to come on ship to line basis. Some customer want a milk run, the milk run, in the supply chain.
Yeah.
So milk run is there is a continuous run of vehicles